that you should be penalized if you're doing the wrong things, whether you are on Wall Street, wasting money, whether you are having babies out of wedlock, which is where some of the social conservative side of the Tea Party is getting noticed. They firmly believe that actions beget penalties or good deeds begets good fortune. And we've diminished that by putting policies in place that don't allow karma to happen the way it normally should.
That is so true. You know, when I first started business, I went to Rotary International's meetings, and I want to tell you, there's a code of conduct for businesses. And that doesn't happen. Today it's the bottom line, the top line, the other lines. But does the business help the people? Does the business help the state? Is money making the only part of the business? I mean, it just tells me that we are going in a wrong direction. And I found that Hindu karma relationship absolutely amazing.
Interesting, right? I mean, in a way, this article really solidifies for me what they're after, which up until now I really didn't get it. And so I have to agree that, you know, if in fact what's driving this Tea Party movement is the sense of moral obligation, right, which is what they're saying. And you know, let's not say that it's, you know, purely associated with the church, because a lot of us feel this might be a religious steep movement. It's sort of not. It's basically saying that if you are a believer in this moral current that should underflow everything, then in fact you are a Tea Partier. That's why this movement is gaining momentum.
It has more moral intentions, you know.
And I think it's really striking a chord with people who are hit hard by the recession, people who feel stilted or jilted by their work circumstances or life circumstances. It's easy to embrace this idea of a karma movement, right? And so I think this is, I think if we underestimated what the Tea Party was about, we shouldn't, because this is a moral undercurrent running through our society, and it's finally found shape in the Tea Party.
It totally impresses me. You know, neighbors used to help neighbors, families used to help families, but now it's the state welfare, it is the other, you know, non-profit NGOs and state-sponsored or funded, or, you know, all those kind of things, trying to take away the interaction of the families and the neighbors and the country. So that's why I'm touched by what Tea Party stands for.
They're trying to go back to the good old days of what America used to stand for. And that's what scares the, you know, what out of the liberals, because they're gaining all of the independence. You know, the irony here is that Sarah Palin, who started out really kind of energizing the Republican base, has become the face, if you will, of the Tea Party movement. I think it's actually quite opportunistic for her to have done so. I don't know that there is anything compelling about her promoting this agenda per se, but the fact that she's vocal about it, the fact that she's on the road stumping about it, she has somehow embraced this movement and become its forefront center. And what's even more interesting is because of that, you see so many new Sarah Palins that have cropped up. I mean, Christine O'Donnell is one such new Sarah Palin-style politician that just decided she needed to run on these moral grounds, and here she is, and she's gaining a lot of attention and a lot of press. The real irony, to me anyways, is that for months I talked about Sarah Palin and not really supporting her cause, and yet she is well poised for this 2012 election on the grounds of the Tea Party movement, which I find fascinating. It is fascinating, folks.
So are you a convert of Tea Party now?
I plead the fifth.
Moving on, President Obama is going to be visiting India. And one of the places he'll be visiting is Amritsar. Now, how did Amritsar get on the itinerary is a very important thing to some of the people here in Washington, D.C. Dr. Rajwant Singh, who's actually a dentist, and he is a good friend of President Obama. He supported them early on. Of course, he supported Hillary Clinton first, and then President Obama. But he said that in November, when Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was here for the state visit, and at the same time, there was Guru Nanak birthday being celebrated around at that time, and President Obama asked about it. And that's when Rajwant Singh said, if I just plug this idea and somehow keep pushing this, it might work. And by God's grace, it did. And you know, he says this is absolutely a joyous moment for Sikhs, not just in America, but all over the world. It's a dream come true for Sikhs that Obama is not only going to visit Amritsar, he's going to go to Golden Temple and take the prasad that we all talk about, you know, langar rather.
Well, I'm happy to know that he's going. I also think, though, that you can't avoid the fact that there has got to be some political motivation for this as well. The fact is, Punjab has always been a somewhat volatile region, and in recent times it's been in the news because it is volatile. You've had skirmishes there recently, so his presence may go a long way to kind of settling things down and letting both India and Pakistan know that, you know what, this is an area that needs to be preserved, protected, and shouldn't always be contested by the two countries. I think he's making a political show of going there because it's an important place and it's politically important for India and Pakistan.
Just one correction. The other side of Punjab that lies in Pakistan is where the agitation is, not in this Punjab, because this is the Punjab where there's a bounty full of agriculture and great intelligent people starting businesses and manufacturing.
Actually, you're making almost the same point as me. It's an economic hub, which is why it's such an important region for both Pakistan and India, which is probably why you have so many skirmishes around the border area. I think his presence there and symbolically going to the Golden Temple is a very meaningful event.
Last week, folks, I told you about Social Network, the film that I really enjoyed. It is about the Facebook and how it got started. Did you know, by the way, the Facebook actually got its start by another Indian. His name is Divya Narendra, and he was a junior at the